All right, here is the first lesson of our unit on exponents. We're going to learn all different types of properties of exponents, but we're starting out with just a simple what do you do when you have positive exponents? For example, 3 to the fourth, what does that equal? Or negative 4 to the third, what does that equal? Or if you don't have any parentheses with a negative, how do you do that? So how do you evaluate these differently? First, just the basics. 4 to the third power, 4 is the base, 3 is that exponent, and the exponent tells you to multiply 4 by itself 3 times. Alright, here are 3 examples that we are going to evaluate without a calculator, and they all have a positive base. So positive 6, positive 5, and positive 4. Alright, so 6 squared means multiply 6 by itself twice, and 6 times 6 is a positive 36. Second one, 5 to the third, 5 times itself 3 times. 5 times 5 is 25, and 25 times 5 is 125. And then the last one, 4 times itself 4 times. Let's see, 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 16 is 256. So if the base is positive, just making a little note that all of our answers will always be positive. Alright, 3 more examples. The difference is the base on all of these are negative, and there are no parentheses. So when you don't have parentheses, here's what I want you to think about. It actually would be a negative, and then you'd evaluate 2 times 2 times 2. So you evaluate 2 to the third power, and then make it negative. So 2 times 2 is 4, times another 2 is 8. Bring the negative down, negative 8. Alright, negative 3 to the fourth. So we're going to do 3 times 3 times 3 times another 3, and then make it negative. So 3 times 3 is 9. This 3 times 3 is 9. And 9 times 9 is 81. And then bring the negative down. Alright, last one. Negative 7 times 7. So 7 times 7 is 49. Bring the negative down. So what I want you to notice is the base is negative and there are no parentheses. Your answers are always negative. Alright, 4 examples here. We still have negative base, but this time that negative base is in parentheses. So that changes things up a little bit. Let's figure out what happens. So if you have negative 2 in parentheses times 4, that means you're actually multiplying the negative 2 by itself 4 times. So a negative times a negative, positive 4. And then let's see, if you multiplied by a negative, it goes to negative 8. And then negative 8 times a negative, it goes to a positive 16. So what happens if you multiply, let's see, negative 2 by itself 5 times? So negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. Well, we just figured out that if you multiply it by itself 4 times, you get a positive 16. And you multiply by another time, it's now back to negative, and it's negative 32. All right, let's look at the bottom two examples. Negative 5 squared means negative 5 times negative 5, which is a positive 25. But negative 5 to the third, negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5, we just figured out that this is positive 25. Multiply again, that's now negative 125. Alright, so we look back. Let's see what the pattern is. When I had an even exponent, I had a positive number. Even exponent, positive number. Odd exponent, negative number. Odd exponent, negative number. So if I have a negative base in parentheses with an even exponent, it will always be positive. But if it's a negative base in parentheses with an odd exponent, it will be negative. Alright, last part of the video is just evaluating fractions with exponents. So, 2/5 squared just means 2/5 times 2/5. So, we know we can multiply fractions by just multiplying straight across. 2 times 2 is 4, 5 times 5 is 25. Alright, next one. Let's see, negative in parentheses, odd exponent. Negative 3/4 times negative 3/4 times negative 3/4. Alright, so a negative times a negative is a positive, times a negative is a negative. 3 times 3 is 9, times another 3 is 27. 4 times 4 is 16, times another 4 is 64. Negative 27 over 64. Alright, last one. Negative exponent to an even, negative base to an even exponent. Negative 1/8 squared just means negative 1/8 times negative 1/8. Negative times a negative is a positive. 1 times 1 is 1, and 8 times 8 is 64. So there is your quick lesson on just evaluating basic expressions in which all of the exponents are positive.